Hi, my name's Jason Rowe. I'm a freelance travel photographer and writer and tutorial creator for lightstalking.com. In this short video, I'm going to introduce you to a technique called image stacking in relation to reducing noise in high ISO images. This image I have on screen was shot in Budapest in September 2017, and it was part of a time-lapse sequence. The problem is I actually set the ISO to 5000, which was way more than it actually needed to be. And so if I zoom in here in Lightroom, you can see it's extraordinarily grainy. However, because it's a sequence of images, all identical exposure, I can actually reduce that noise by using image stacking in Photoshop. If you get to a point where you're needing to raise your ISO to a point where it gets far too grainy, what you can do is shoot a sequence of shots at exactly the same exposure, keeping your hand very, very steady, so that each image is actually very similar to the previous one without too much variation in movement. In this case, I was actually on a tripod, and it was just a genuine mistake that I shot at ISO 5000. But if you don't have the tripod and the light is fading, you can actually create a good quality image from a high ISO original. And let's go and have a look at how we do this. I've actually exported a sequence of these images as Photoshop DNG files. So you can see here I've got 8 of these. All identical, all taken within a few seconds of each other. So we're going to go over to Photoshop now, and from Photoshop we go File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack. This will open this little window here, and then we go to Browse, and we select all of those DNG files. You can use DNG, you can use RAWs, you can use whatever JPEGs are coming out of your camera. Obviously, if you're using a RAW file, you're going to get a better image quality in the final result. So in this case, I've just converted to Adobe RAW. So we select all of those and we click Open. At the bottom here, we see a couple of checkboxes. If you've shot on a tripod, you don't need to automatically align source images because obviously every image will be identical. But if you've handheld those shots, those 5 to 10 shots, you need to align them automatically. So you would click this box. The other one that you do have to click in any case is Create Smart Objects after loading layers. So we'll do that now. And now we click OK. And we wait for Photoshop to do its thing. Depending on your computer, that might take a little bit of time. If you've got a beefy computer, it'll do it fairly quickly. So here we are, the image is all merged together in Photoshop, and if we go at a 100% view, you'll see it looks pretty much exactly the same in terms of grain. That's where we now bring in a special algorithm that will stack these images. So if we go back to Fit Screen and we go to Layer, and we go all the way down to Smart Objects, and then we go to Stack Mode, and we click Median. And again, Photoshop will do a little bit of processing. Again, depending on your computer, it might take a little while to do. And there we go. And what's actually happened here is Photoshop has worked out the difference between all 8 images that are loaded into that stack. And where there is a difference, it's kind of merged those images together. And the reason this works on noise is because noise never manifests itself in the same place in any same part of the image. So each of those individual 8 images will have noise patterns that differ from each other and are in different places. Now if I zoom to 100% and just scroll down a little bit to have a look at the sky, you'll see there's a massive difference in the quality. There is some noise there, but it's like you've taken it from 5000 ASA to maybe 1200, 1600 ISO. So a much, much better image quality. And unlike noise reduction software that you have in Photoshop, that you have in Lightroom, you don't get that nasty smeary look to it, which actually makes the image look out of focus and clearly looking as if it's had noise reduction applied to it. In this case, with this image stacking technique, you can see, even zooming in at 200%, are we here? Yeah, 200%. the noise has been dramatically reduced, and if we go out to full screen, you can see it looks great, and that would be accepted for a stock agency, or you could print that quite easily. I hope you've learnt something from this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you soon.